This is the Grow Your Clinic podcast from Clinic Mastery. We help progressive health professionals to lead inspired teams, transform client experiences, and build clinics for good. Now, it's time to grow your clinic.
Welcome back to another episode of the Grow Your Clinic podcast. Thank you for joining me today for another episode as we continue our Clinic Owner Spotlight series, shining a light on legends who are doing remarkable things with their clinics all across the world, really. And today it takes us over to Western Australia to dive into another clinic for good. And I can't wait to get amongst this story. So Matt Harris, welcome to the podcast. How are you today, Matt?
Very well, thank you, Mr. O'Brien. I appreciate your time to spend some time with me to find out about us.
Absolutely. So you're the founder, director of Exercise for Life, an EP clinic and gym space, right, over in sunny Perth, WA.
That's correct. Yeah, been doing that for 17 years now, and that was the birthday on the 20th of this month.
Oh, really?
Yes.
17 years. You know, you get longer for murder in some places.
Oh, mate, I've questioned myself many times on that.
But no, that's remarkable. 17 years. That's a testament to faithfulness and hard work. So well done. Not many people survive, let alone thrive for that long. Now, we'll get into the story of Exercise for Life soon. But before we do, I've got a couple of icebreakers for you. Are you ready to go?
Sure am.
All right. Number one, what are you reading or learning right now?
At the moment, I'm reading Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek.
Nice. Any key takeaways off the top of your head?
Stay focused and very much provide the team with the ability to thrive without me.
Nice. That's a ripper book. It's a perennial on that one. I love it. Okay, number two, who inspires you?
I would have to say there's no one person that inspires me, but there are entrepreneurs who are successful in terms of implementing a strong, robust system and gaining success with adjustments to that system and feeling that they are not fearful to make adjustments. That's probably who I look up to the most.
I like it, mate. Number three, what did you want to be growing up?
So when I first started thinking about what I wanted to be, I was always going to be a soldier, always. As I matured and got into school and found sport and loved sport, I planned and structured my whole schooling career about becoming a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
Did that, got into university and completed 6 months of the course, deferred it, and then joined the police force.
That's a nice variety. Finally, mate, what's a motto that you live by?
For me, don't give up. Probably don't give up.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny, I was on one of the recent podcast episodes. I love hearing these mottos because I've known you now for, it's almost a couple of years, right? And I hear that motto and I go, yeah, that's what Matt's lived out, at least in the time I've known you. That's phenomenal. Awesome, mate. So, okay, let's dive into the story. Connect the dots for me from military teacher all the way through to police officer, and now you're an exercise physiologist. Connect the dots for me.
Well, this is going to start to show my age, Jack. I'm okay with that. So I left the police force after 4 years and just quickly went over and lived overseas. And then decided to come back and continue on with university and enrolled in exercise science, which led me in the direction in the postgrad level to exercise rehab.
Okay. So what made you choose exercise science?
Because when I was away, I wanted to get into exercise rehabilitation. So that was the direction then. It was quite interesting, Jack. There wasn't a really well consolidated course.
Sure.
Went back and did exercise science, and one of the courses was ex-rehab, and UWA was offering a postgrad program then. It was the only one in the state, so that's what I went for, and the rest is history, I guess.
Well, it is a little bit. So at some point in that journey, as one well-known celebrity likes to call it, you had an entrepreneurial seizure and decided to start your own clinic. Did you work publicly, privately, and what led you to starting what is now Exercise for Life?
Yeah, so when I finished my postgrad year, I did my master's at UWA, and worked in a clinic there, which was a musculoskeletal rehab clinic. And my light bulb moment really was, I loved it. It was fantastic, but there was no mentor, there was no structure, there were no clear systems on growth. As all budding entrepreneurs, I thought I could do it better. What a joke.
How we're all so blissfully unaware at times, right?
That's right.
And so you've jumped out and kicked off your own. What were those first couple of years like?
Bloody hard.
In what way?
I guess just because we're going back, 17 years now.
Sure.
If there was a clinic mastery, I would have been in heaven. But I was flying blind, Jack, so I was just full of bravado and arrogance that I wanted to do my own thing. But I didn't place a lot of business structure into it.
Sure. And so it grew obviously over time, but that was based off your kind of just raw energy and zeal and passion for this emerging health profession. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
What was the environment like as as EP? And I know there's a lot of other professions that often feel this, and I'm mindful that I'm from essentially a majority profession, right? Physio. Everyone knows what a physio is, but sometimes psychologists or speech pathologists and EPs, it's a little less known. What was it like trying to build a clinic from a relatively unknown foundation?
Just slogging it out, getting out, knocking on doors, creating relationships, starting to have people referred. It was interesting because early in the piece, exercise physiology, as you mentioned, it just wasn't a profession that was well known. Mm-hmm. When I first started, there was no Medicare availability for it. There was no private health insurance rebates available for it. But we were just lucky we created a good name and people came.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. And what was that journey like, maybe up till 2 or 3 years ago? What did your clinic look like at the time that we first met?
Yeah, so I was coming off actually in 2014. I had 2 clinics and we had a few things going on in the family and it just wasn't working out. So I sold one. And when I met Daniel from CM, I was pretty frustrated, Jack. I was getting to a point that I'd been in business for, 14 years, same sort of problems, not really it wasn't a remuneration or a money thing so much. Of course, money always comes into it, but it was, I was starting to feel trapped and I needed a new direction in terms of my role in the business. And I said to Dan, look, mate, I'm really keen on starting with you guys because I really believe in what you do, but this is it. I'm going to give it a crack. And if it doesn't work, I'm shutting shop.
We haven't shut up shop yet.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I love it. So at that time, you're still seeing patients a majority of your time?
Yes. So I think that was the key. I was still seeing a large caseload. I had team members working with me, but I was trying to pull too many strings. So I think without understanding, that was the frustration.
Sure. Was a lot of the business operations still falling on your shoulders, marketing and finance and that type of stuff?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I was getting tired.
Sure.
And, again, coming back to the motto, I wasn't going to give up. I said to myself, I just knew that I hadn't given it the crack that it needed for me to say, fair's fair, done, gave it my best crack. Sure. And that was really hitting me hard. I just thought, there's something else that has to be done for me to give it the best crack possible. And honestly, without being silly, that was starting up with you guys.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's important that we kind of labor on this because I think your story it's quintessential, right, of so many EP clinics and all allied health clinics. You've got a couple of team members, you've been chipping away for a number of years, reached a level or a stage of business, but you've got to scratch the itch and see if you've got it in you to take it to the next one, right? So you had a bit of a gym membership type model and some team members as well?
Correct.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And so let's fast forward to today. What does Exercise for Life look like now? Team, clients, your role, what does it look like?
Yeah. So completely different. So starting with me, I guess, because I was the one with the biggest frustrations, I'm clinically off the tools. I don't see clients anymore.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Having said that, I'm working harder than I ever had. But my role now is to support the team. So that is my key role, and getting the business to a point where it can function independently, which it does.
That's unreal. And how many team members are we at now?
So we've got 2 full-time, 1 part-time who's just flicking to full-time in a couple of weeks, and another part-timer and an admin person.
Nice. That's remarkable, mate. Well done. And so when you say support the team, and I'm sure there's other business operations that go along with that, like what's an average week in the life of Matt Harris look like?
It's very different to what it was a couple of years ago. It's a lot more structured. So I know what I'm doing the week before. So we have our software, which you guys help me look at, Asana. So essentially, I have my plan for the week where I'm still involved in most functions, but more about getting a very good handle on what those functions are doing. So looking at the marketing, looking at the referrer relationships, working with the team, training the team, looking at the finances, planning forward, revisiting, retweaking, but more on my terms, Jack. So I don't have a time that I go into work. I normally get in there by 8, but it doesn't really matter, which is quite nice. And I'll walk out whenever I want to. But I feel a lot more relaxed. The week is structured. I have outcomes that I have expectations of myself. I achieve most of them sometimes, not others. But, one thing I've just got a lot more focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah, that's what's resonating. I think, like you're saying, you're doing everything that you're doing now. You were doing that previously. Now it comes with so much more structure, energy, purpose, and skill, right? Can you maybe talk to how you've upskilled as a business owner in some of those systems, finance, marketing elements? What's changed for you?
Just having the systems more clearly identified. And the biggest push was then me implementing them, because it's so easy to say, Matt, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. But if you actually don't look at it, understand it, test it against me, my business, and then implement it, then your systems are a waste of time. And that was the thing with me, is it was all in my head, which a lot of people say, but the systems now are very, very well structured. I understand them, which is very key. And I measure. I measure and remeasure and tweak accordingly.
And you mentioned you're off the tools now. You're not seeing patients directly. How does that feel? Do you miss seeing the patients directly?
It's still like all of us, all practitioners, we love our clients.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I feel my role is much better used supporting the team, so the team can look after the clients, not me. Everyone still loves to talk to me, and I make sure myself I'm available. But no, I was ready for a new role in the business, and I love it.
And I think that's the key, right? We can help X number of people with our time in the 30 to 50 hours a week that we might have to see patients. You can help so many people. Now, being able to lead a team of 3 or 4 EPs, that impact is much more exponential, right?
And one of my greatest enjoyments presently is seeing my practitioners become the champions. I often say that to them. I'm not interested in being in the light. I want you guys to be the go-to people. I want you to be the experts in your area in Perth. This is one of my goals in the business, is I want these kids to be the best and love what they do and support them to get there.
I know a lot of clinic owners struggle with that concept, Matt, that maybe they've built a clinic that's been based around their reputation, and clinic owners often feel like they need to be the best clinician on their team. Like, how can you lead if you're not the best? How do you wrestle with those tensions of being the best or about your reputation? How do you wrestle with that?
See, it's like anything, team, mate. There's no I. The team is only as good as the system.
Sure.
And the team working in the system people will come and go, and we'll celebrate the coming and the going. But the system is still for us to deliver fantastic health outcomes in exercise for life. It's exercise for life. And if you're part of it, we celebrate you, we support you, we guide you. But if you decide that you want to move on, that's also okay. The system has to continue to deliver.
I like it. And I want to drill on this because this is such a key part of your journey. And again, I'm thinking about clinic owners listening who are thinking, oh, well, the way you just described it, Matt, you don't work 60 or 70 hours a week anymore. You said you work hard, but you sort of come and go when you please. How do you balance that with a team when perhaps you're not the one working the most hours anymore? It's not leading from doing all the work. How do you wrestle with that?
Well, it depends on what you call work. It's my job to ensure that all the team members are supported 100%. So my ear, my door is always open. I'm always probing with questioning. We meet every week. We meet every day. I'll always ask, how can I help you? So there's no conflict there for me in terms of my role. My role is very clear, and it's clear depending on what team we have, because that's the nature of business. Teams come and go, but we just have to ensure that every single person that's involved feels that their journey is a true, enjoyable, worthwhile journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an important point for those listening along, is that we as clinic owners often feel like we need to be the best or work the most or see the most clients. And it just doesn't have to be the case when you're leading a team in the way that you do, Matt. What about, and with all respect for your personal privacy, I know a lot of clinic owners are concerned about coming off the tools or concerned about seeing patients because of the financial impact that might have on the business. Again, without specifics, overwhelmingly, has it been a positive or a negative impact on your finances over time?
Positive. The income earning ability of my team is still the same. It may not be that I'm billing X amount per hour,
sure,
but I'm working on high-level tasks that provide an opportunity for those higher-yielding clients or higher-yielding services to be delivered, which before wasn't able to be done because I was head deep in working with people.
Sure. So you get a chance to play a bigger game, so to speak?
That's right, and grow the business in terms of the service and the types of business that we do. So you mentioned at the beginning that there was a gym-based model. We do have a gym, but the largest component change of my business has been a very large increase in one-to-one services.
Okay.
And also refining the type of services that we deliver.
That's awesome. And what's the plan? Are we looking at adding in more practitioners, or what's the impact goals? What's the stretch goal that you've got?
So Real Terms have the 3 practitioners full-time by the end of the year. We want to be having a weekly income earning of 12,000. Moving forward into next year, I want another full-time EP. I actually want to introduce multi-practitioner as well. So we're looking at introducing a dietitian and a massage therapist. And one of my goals is a physio, which I think would be awesome. That's 2021. Moving forward from there, this is going against my grain now, Jack, but I might actually have to think about opening another centre. I said to myself I'd never do it again.
It'd be fun. We've got to keep challenging yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I'm interested in that. What role has CM played in this journey over the last couple of years?
Oh, huge. I understand that sounds stereotypical and quoted, and and this is dead honesty with you, Jack, and anyone who's listening. The system saved me. Look, I would have survived. I would have moved on. No big deal, because that's what you do. But it provided me with a platform to finally achieve what I wanted to achieve from a business perspective, to place systems into my business that provide me with clarity, with the ability to measure, with the ability to mentor, train my team, remeasure and plan for the future, and enjoy it. And probably the funniest thing out of all of this, Yes, I'm a scientist. Yes, I did my bloody master's, but I'm no mathematician. But I now love my numbers, and I'm looking at them all the time. Dashboards. I love dashboards.
Oh, perfect. You're a convert. I like it. I appreciate your kind words. And I think it really is a testament to your hard work. Like I say, that's that never quit, never say die sort of mentality. And I'd love to press into some of your wisdom and advice for other clinic owners. There's so much wisdom in your journey. Exercise physiology is a profession that often carries a lot of perhaps beliefs or mindsets. If you're thinking about the EP clinic owner who's listening in, who thinks, oh, that's all right for Matt, but I don't think it'd work for me, or we're stuck in a bulk billing type model, or some of those limiting beliefs, what would you say to a budding EP clinic owner?
Well, there's no yes, but that doesn't exist in our vocabulary. It would question you, what is holding you back? What are your goals? And what do you need to achieve to get there? So that's real. So if you actually look at what you want to do and then understand what you need to do to get there, you'll get there. But in the middle of that, it takes a lot of hard work, and there's no easy path.
Yeah, hard work's a key. And what about leadership, Matt? When you look back on the last recent years, 3 to 5 years, you've spoken so much about mentoring and team, and what leadership lessons have you learned, or what are you really proud of in that journey?
Oh, it's a funny one because, again, I'm a grumpy old dinosaur. And I come from sport and teams and have coached and love it. But my generation was do it. And if you fail, you get up and you go again. There was no compassion, no, maybe we can look at it this way, or self-analytical, or go for a walk, smell the flowers. So in terms of leadership, I still love it, but it's taught me that leadership is born out of being adaptable to the people around you, to understand that everyone is different, to understand that everyone comes with their own values and skills. And my job is to create a relationship with them where they feel confident to grow using their skill set, but abiding by the systems that need to be implemented. And so, yeah, I've got 3 people and I'm working with them differently, and I've got different levers to pull with each of them. We all have our systems, we all have our goals, we all have our dashboards and delivering these fantastic outcomes for our clients, but they are all different individuals. So when it comes to the personality profiling and looking at introverts, extroverts, actually asking how are you today, and listening and caring, because sometimes, it's hard. But yeah, that is it. And I've learned a lot in that area.
How did you learn these leadership skills? Not that it doesn't come naturally, but it's not your default. You come from the old school. It sounds like it's very much a vulnerable and curious and empathetic leadership style. Where did that come from?
That's just come with education, being exposed to radical candor, being exposed to systems such as our focus sheets that we do with CM, doing them myself. I'm still learning on the best rhythm to meet every week. There's still this struggle on, we've got these goals and it's not happening. So what do we do? So I'm learning a lot and really understanding in getting into the minds of the practitioners to say, okay, so just asking them with an open mind. So what can we do to achieve that outcome? Rather than telling, asking, empowering, and listening.
I love that. And you really do embody that coaching, collaborative style of leadership. And it obviously comes from such a place of humility, which I love about you. And it really resonates with the types of clinic owners that we love to work with. Really appreciate you sharing your journey here, mate. And I love that commitment to kind of lifelong learning. This is a lifelong pursuit of clinic mastery for all of us, that none of us have it all together. You've really embodied that. So what I would love is, to those who are of your vintage, if you're thinking, maybe there's listeners going, it's all right, this is all for young people. This is all for startups and early stage. You've been around the block for a little while. What would you say to those who have been around the block a couple of times?
Yeah, my generation are very good at yes butting. Open your eyes. Question what you want to be remembered for. Question what really motivates you, and then seek the wisdom. Find a system that suits you. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't compare yourself to other business owners. Take action and don't give up.
Don't give up. Mate, that's a brilliant note to end on. So thank you so much for sharing. It's phenomenal. If people want to maybe check out your clinic, which I would suggest is fast becoming a clinic for good. You're doing remarkable things with your team and the impact that I know you create personally out of that. If people want to check out your clinic or get in touch with you personally, what's some of the ways that we can do that?
They can always, if they're local, they can always give us a call on your landline number, 0893718563. We're always on obviously our webpage, www.exerciseforlife.com.au, and we're on Insta, Exercise Physiology at Exercise for Life.
Perfect. And listeners, we'll make sure we link up all of those handles, numbers, emails, etc. over in the show notes at clinicmastery.com/podcast. If you want to get in touch and check out the incredible things Matt's doing over on the west coast of Australia. Matthew Harris, Exercise for Life. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, mate. It's been amazing.
It's an absolute pleasure. And thank you for your continued support at Clinic Mastery.
Mate, we love it. And listeners, thank you for joining us. As always, head over to clinicmastery.com/podcast for all the show notes. You can leave us a review, rating, get in touch, or if you need help to grow your clinic, reach out. We'll have a conversation. But as always, thank you for listening, and I can't wait to bring you another episode again. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Grow Your Clinic podcast. To find out more about past episodes or how we can help you, head to www.clinicmastery.com/podcast. And please remember to rate and review us on your podcast player of choice. See you on the next episode.